Stay tuned until the end of the video for a very spooky, haunted mansion themed announcement.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
It's an opening day attraction that some people say takes up a little bit too much space or hasn't aged the best. But Autopia still holds a place in the hearts and minds of Disneyland visitors and locals alike. From the hum of the cars to the noxious gasoline fumes as you walk past it to get to the Tomorrowland railroad stop, and if by something you mean the no bumping stickers that people just don't pay attention to for whatever reason. Ever. Not trying to get a broken back here, everybody. If I wanted that, I'd go ride the Matterhorn. But when you look into the very common sentiment that Tomorrowland needs a bit of a refresh or a facelift, Autopia is usually at the top of that list for any sort of change or even demolition. But there are different powers in play here, people. Powers much larger than you or me. Much larger, even, dare I say, than Bob Chapek himself. Over the years, rumors have flown around about Autopia changing or being torn out somehow or some way, but those, of course, are all just rumors. No. Today, I will show you why Autopia is eternal. Autopia is immortal and shall never leave the grounds of Disneyland. Till after I make this video, of course, because Disney loves proving me wrong. No rumors today, everybody. This is the truth about Autopia. If Autopia does one thing well, it's eating people. And no, I don't mean like cannibalism or like the ride ingests people. No, I'm talking about how guests will tend to gravitate toward the Autopia. It's a time filler ride. People aren't lining up early in the morning for Autopia the same way they are Rise of the Resistance or the Haunted Mansion. No, but nonetheless, it is a fun enough way to spend 40 minutes. See, here's the thing about Autopia. It is a Disneyland icon. That's undebatable. The cars, the attraction poster, heck, a car sold for $4,600 in May of 2006, which was a long time ago. You could probably get a lot more for an Autopia car these days, but I've never seen one of the most classic rides in Disney parks history regarded with more, it's okay, than the Autopia. There's a lot of aspects and reasons why people might not like the Autopia. Like I said before, the smell or the noise that it gives off, the fact that it takes up almost half of Tomorrowland, I mean, these are all understandable. And so obviously a ride from 1955 would need changes over the year, and changes did come. Not to the ride itself, but to the theming and sponsorship. Most recently by Honda and the addition of Osimo and Bird, which is, you know, fine. I like the addition of the new scenes, but it doesn't fix the problem of Autopia being outdated for Tomorrowland. It was supposed to represent the futuristic highway system of the future when Disneyland opened, and now we've had that highway system for multiple decades. I drive on the highway system to get to Disneyland. I don't need to drive on the highway system once I arrive. Unless I want to, which sometimes I do.
I forgot my keys.
And so, like I've said, there have been calls to redo Autopia over the years. Maybe change the vehicles to electric vehicles instead of gas-powered. Maybe, and this is an original idea of mine, okay, if anybody references it or talks about it, just know that they stole it from me. I think. Maybe they could be made into self-driving cars, or maybe self-guided driving cars. That way you can remove the crossbeam, but every time the cars get close to bumping or crashing or doing anything, they can self-correct. Now that, everybody, to me, sounds like the future, but then we run into the Tomorrowland problem. And if you're not aware, the Tomorrowland problem is when you build something to be futuristic, but because the future always arrives, whatever you built will always become outdated. Like Disneyland's Tomorrowland, Epcot also suffered from the Tomorrowland problem until Disney decided to give it a refresh. But we run into the same problem. Who knows, maybe in 10 or 20 years it's going to be outdated and Disney will have to redo all of Future World and Epcot again. But that's a conversation for an entirely different video. We've talked about the Tomorrowland problem before and how to fix it. Today we're talking about the Autopia and what can be done to make it not so bad. And the answer to that question, everybody, unfortunately, is not a whole lot, according to a Tomorrowland cast member. Now, our story starts about a month ago when I was browsing the Disneyland subreddit, and I saw a post with quite a few amount of upvotes, titled Hot Take. Autopia detracts from Disneyland magic more than it adds. It's loud, the fumes make people sick, it takes up a huge amount of space that could be better used for literally anything else. The fact they haven't at least converted to electric cars yet is baffling. And judging by the amount of people who liked or upvoted this post, 643 at the time of making this video, this seems to be a relatively common sentiment. But the real thing I wanted to talk about in this video, the meat of the conversation, was a comment left by WaterSurf. An Autopia cast member who sheds some light on why Autopia is the way that it is and why Disney refuses to change it. Now we're going to split this comment up into different pieces to read, but I'm just going to go ahead and start and stop when I find it appropriate. I will also leave a link to the thread in the description down below if you want to go ahead and take a look. Make sure to be nice to everybody, okay? So tell them offhand Disney sent you, but be respectful, be nice. Okay, on to it. Watersurf says, Autopia cast member here. Well, not currently for obvious reasons. While I do agree with you completely, Autopia will most likely not be removed anytime soon. It is currently under sponsorship from Honda until 2023 or 2024, they can't really remember. And with the whole pandemic that shut down Disneyland for an entire year, we may see the sponsorship extended for the same amount of time. Those are my thoughts, that's not included in the comment, I just wanted to throw that in there. They add, Autopia is also above the Nemo attraction, which means if you get rid of it, you have to get rid of Finding Nemo, and vice versa. Now I'm not sure if this is entirely true, but hey, they're the Autopia cast member, I'm not, they obviously know more about the attraction. But I do believe that it's correct that part of Autopia sits on top of the Finding Nemo dark ride scenes. So in order to remove Autopia, you'd either have to reroute the subs or close down the subs, like they said. This is what it comes down to. The Nemo attraction makes it extremely difficult to do anything with the land. It would also require for the monorail tracks to be reworked, which hasn't been done since they moved the monorail track a few inches when they built Indy. And guys, building monorail track isn't exactly the cheapest thing in the world. This is why they haven't completely redone the monorail at Walt Disney World yet. It's just incredibly expensive. Moving the monorail would be a monumental task, one that I don't think Disney has in the playbook, at least for the foreseeable future, in either Orlando or Anaheim. It's very costly, and it's pretty much cheaper to keep it as is until they have money coming in. So until we see another theme park boom, thanks 2020, I'm glad you're gone, we won't see any large-scale changes to Tomorrowland or to Autopia. There's another reason why Disney refuses to remove Autopia though. It's also the single most reliable ride in the park, as we have like 120 something cars in our attraction. If one car goes down, it doesn't cause the attraction to go down, similar to Haunted Mansion or, I don't know, Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. We can easily take off and put on cars without having the attraction shut down. And now, onto the electric car situation. Boy. This is what I heard from my leads, is that they tested an electric car on the attraction, but it couldn't make it up the hills, or it just couldn't make it all the way around. The gas in the cars makes them last pretty much all week, whereas the electric cars would have to be recharged every few hours. While I do agree with getting rid of the attraction, it's very costly and most likely won't happen anytime soon, especially with it being a day one attraction. They also go on to say, this is very important, that this is all of their personal thoughts and opinions on the ride and do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of the Walt Disney Company. Okay, keep that separate. We don't know what Disney's planning to do yet. So while electric cars may be more efficient and more friendly toward the environment, they just can't make it all the way around the track as often and as fast as the gasoline-powered Autopia cars. Until we, as humans, develop longer-lasting and more powerful batteries, which, who knows, may come about in the next couple of years, we won't see that in the Autopia. But when it comes to my self-driving idea, you're telling me there's a chance. Now this is what the cast member heard. This might not necessarily be true because another commenter further down talks about how the electric cars not being able to make it all the way around the track sounds like planned test failure. Or in other words, Disney failed the electric car test on purpose. They may have underpowered the cars or made them go too fast or too long just so they didn't have to replace the ride. They say the tech already exists for an SUV to go hundreds of miles on a single charge with 500 horsepower engines. You may not even need a battery, just electrify the track. But then that opens up the possibility of shocking people. Maybe. I don't know how electrifying something works. But I think Radiator Springs Racers over in Cars Land does something similar. But I think the real root of our problem here is Finding Nemo. The subs, like Autopia, take up a lot of space. And they're a pretty niche ride. I mean, I myself have been on them twice and I have no further desire to go on them again. I don't know what it is, the subs make me scared. But at the same time, the ambiance the lagoon lends to Tomorrowland at nighttime is unmatched anywhere else in the park. It's so nice to just sit by the lagoon and watch the subs go round and round as you listen to the Fantasyland or Tomorrowland ambiance. But having to potentially tear up or close two attractions to fix one, or completely close down one forever to fix the other, I can see why Disney is hesitant to do that. Thanks 1950s engineers, you guys are the best. both sarcastically and seriously. Now, for some people, removing Autopia and Finding Nemo sounds like a dream come true. You could use the land that they are currently on to build a brand new e-ticket ride, like maybe the Tron coaster, or a new reinvented Horizons maybe. But others, like me, admittedly, would be sad to see them go. As we can see with the updated Snow White and Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland, Disney is in the middle of a refresh of Fantasyland, and on the agenda after Fantasyland, of course, is Tomorrowland. So we can only hope that they do this land justice, make it good, bring back the People Mover, make it a true land of the future, bring back the People Mover, and maybe, just maybe, give Autopia the facelift or refresh it deserves, and also bring back the People Mover. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Autopia is doomed to be in its current state forever? Or do you think maybe a refresh is on the horizon, whatever that may look like? And if that update required a rerouting or, dare I say, even closure of the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, would you still be up for it? Me personally, I would be okay with the subs closing down. I just want to keep the lagoon. I love the lagoon at night. Look at it. Look at the lagoon. Let me know in the comments because I really want to hear what people think about this. Do people love Autopia? Or do you agree with the people in this Reddit thread that it kind of dulls down the magic of Tomorrowland and Disneyland as a whole? But I mean, in the end, who knows? After a refresh of Pinocchio's Daring Journey and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, maybe someday we will see electric vehicles, self-driving vehicles, maybe even rocket-powered vehicles come to the Autopia. Now that is futuristic. Hello everybody, thank you all so much for watching my video on the truth behind Autopia, why it just sits there unloved year in and year out. Speaking of years, happy 2021 everybody. I'm keeping my hopes high, I'm keeping my head held high, hoping that Disneyland will be open this year and that I will be able to return to my favorite place on the planet before December. I mean, who knows, I'm honestly optimistic, but I mean, if you're not, I totally get it, things are a little rough right now. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and Buena Vista Street's open, so that's a plus. If you're interested in supporting this channel, maybe getting access to early episode audio, and in some cases access to episodes early, head over to my Patreon, linked in the description down below, and even just $1 will get you access to most of the perks. There's a personal guided tour of Disneyland that is exclusive, and obviously on hold for right now because I can't get over the gates yet. I'm getting a little closer every day though. Like I said at the beginning of the video though, everybody, very special news. My new podcast with Disney Dan, Foolish Mortals, a Haunted Mansion podcast, is coming soon. So if you're interested in hearing me talk about the history of the Haunted Mansion to someone who might not be quite on the inside, sorry Dan, of Haunted Mansion knowledge, you know I love you, but my first purpose is to educate. Stay tuned and keep yourself glued to our Twitters at Offhand Disney and at Disney Dan for the release date. I'm very excited to share this one to you guys. But at the end of the day, everybody, that about wraps it up for everything I wanted to talk about in the end card. You guys having a happy new year? What'd you guys do on New Year's Eve? Me and Kaylee watched Soul. We cried. It was a whole thing. Everyone, happy 2021. Here's to a brighter future for Disneyland. And thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video, whatever video that may be. I haven't decided yet. I'm just kind of rolling with it for now. Goodbye.